Welcome, 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 everyone. Will you all do me a favor since we are going to run this mastermind style? If you will do me a quick favor and just come on video. And my dad had this old saying about wherever you are, be there 100%. Would love for you to be here 100%. And we're going to dive into a lot of things about how to get referrals. The way that this kind of got started is I got 109 referrals at Mega Camp. So that was just a couple of months ago. And to make the story even better, I not only got 109 referrals, but I also generated $8,800 doing the activity that got me 109 referrals. So we are in a process now where we are continuing to go through those referrals. And here's what's very interesting. Not only did I get referrals for myself, I got referrals for my sponsors. Not only did I get referrals for myself and my sponsors, I got referrals for team leaders. Not only did I get referrals for team leaders, I also got agents to refer to team leaders at all in 2 hours at Mega Camp. So how did I do that? I'm going to show you exactly how to do that in this session, and we're going to dive deep into what I believe is the single best way to get the most amount of referrals in the least amount of time. And isn't that what we're here for? Like, isn't that what you are here for? Like, what is the purpose of your business? What is the purpose of your business? In my opinion, the purpose of your business is to be referable. If your business isn't referable, there must be something wrong. But I'm going to take it a step further. And some of you may be not insulted, but you may take this the wrong way. But what's your purpose in life? What's your purpose in life? That's a pretty deep question to start with. I truly believe that our purpose in life is to be referable. If you are not referable, then why not? Is it something in your character? Is it something in your competence? Is it something in your communication? So if our business's purpose is to be referable and our purpose in life is to be referable, then we should make a lifelong study of what it takes to be referable. So that's what we're going to dive into today. And I'm going to jump right into the PowerPoint and share. And if possible, I would love for you to come on camera. I'd love to see what you look like and have this be a nice interactive. And by the way, the first people that I'll call on are the people who don't have your video on. So be ready for that. So the first thing is, what is the one thing agents should do in this fourth quarter to get referrals? And I'm going to share with you what I truly believe is the one thing that you should focus on in the fourth quarter. So I do have a warning right off the bat, is that there will be warnings during this presentation, and some of them are CYA. And the first warning I want to say is that everything in this is expressed is my opinion and my suggestions, and my responsibility only, has nothing to do with Keller Williams or anybody else that might be involved with this recording or the production. So that's the first thing. Another warning that I have for you is I am not a motivational speaker. I am not a motivational coach. I am someone who takes the motivated and I help give them direction. So if you're looking for pithy sayings or witty quotes, you're probably not going to get them during this, right? All right. I also have a couple other warnings. TCPA, do's and don'ts. Make sure that you are not calling people you don't know. All right. Check any DNC list before you call or text. Do not text people you don't know. And I'm telling you right now, in my entire presentation, none of it is about texting or calling or emailing people you don't know. It is 100% about maximizing the opportunity that we have with the people that know us, like us, and trust us. So how do we get the people to know us, like us, and trust us to refer us? Well, guess what? That's the secret that I'm going to reveal today. So and I always start with an overview. What do I want to cover in this presentation that took me 40 years to produce? That's how I always start. And yes, this took me 40 years to produce. 15 years of like struggling in other businesses, succeeding in certain businesses, and then 25 years as a realtor. So 40 years has been packed into this. Plus I've read 2,500 books over that time and wrapped every single great idea that applied to this into this one presentation. So 40 years and probably 4 hours this week all have gone into this presentation and into what I'm about to explain to you today. So here's the overview. What I want to show to you is to how to instantly get referrals, not fuzzy connections, not introductions, but real documented referrals without spending any money or ruining a conversation and possibly a relationship by verbally asking for referrals. You're going to find that everything I cover today does not require you to verbally ask for referrals. People all the time, they're like, well, how do you get referrals? Well, you ask for them. And I'm telling you right now, the fastest way to ruin a relationship is by asking for referrals. So we're not going to verbally ask for referrals, though we are going to ask for referrals in a more subtle and yet more controlled by them way. So in the chat, do me a favor. How much did you earn when your last referred client closed? And you can estimate this, but how much is one referral worth to you approximately? So what is that worth to you? And how much did you earn from your last referred client closed? Right? In the chat window, put your answers to that. And by the way, this is interactive, right? So yeah, so Jonathan got 22,000 with his last referred client closed. So Skyla and Sheena and Takia and Julie and Tamara, or is it Tamara? Is it Tamara or Tamara? Tamara or Tamara? Just say nod when I get the right one. Tamara. Tamara. Oh, she nodded at both. That does not help me. All right. Miss Bright, how about that? All right. So 10,000 approximately, 10,000. Yeah, 10,000 approximately. Sheena hasn't been. I just got my license. Oh, I love that. Skyla, I have to tell you, God bless America. I wish this system would have been in place when I got started. Just got closed. I haven't closed. Okay. So we've got some new people on here, and we've got, Mark Olish, who is a legend in the business on here. So I'm everywhere from nervous for you to nervous for myself in this presentation. So, all right.
It's great to see you, Michael. I've been a big fan for a long time.
Yeah, thank you. And I'm glad you're here and appreciate it. And I can't wait for you to see what we're covering today. So, all right. So we've heard anything from 10 to 22. I've heard 10 to 35. And so we need to know that going in. Like that one referral is really, really valuable. Please notice we didn't discuss commission percentages, right? So the key to success, focus, make this your one thing right now. Wherever you are, be there 100%. Other than Tamara. Tamara is driving, so I want that to be her 100%. But I hope you also get everybody else can lock in and focus on what we're doing. Gary Keller has said many nice things about me. He called me a genius on the stage at Mega Camp. I thought that was awesome. We just partnered with them in June with KW. And I have to tell you, the reception has been phenomenal. I have absolutely loved working with Graham and everybody at KWRI, and very, very excited about the future of Fast Track and also our KW referrals community that we are building. So who am I? Real quick. A lot of you don't even know who I am. I'm the CEO of a company called Referco. It's one of the world's foremost authorities on business referrals. That's what we do. We help businesses through word of mouth, event marketing, and other facets to grow their number of leads and referrals. Harold Brinton called me America's most preferred real estate professional. I'm the #1 best-selling author of a book called 7L, The 7 Levels of Communication. Go from relationships to referrals. And if you haven't read it, I do suggest that you get it, especially for those of you that are newer to the business. This is going to show you how to build a business through relationships. And research shows that you're going to get 4 out of your first 5 deals from your sphere of influence. So that will help you maximize those, and that will help get those 4 or 5 referrals coming faster. I also co-authored with Hal Elrod, The Miracle Morning for Real Estate Agents, and I'm the leader, father, and founder of the Generosity Generation. You can join our referral group. It is a private group. You'll have to give us some information to get in because we don't want bots in, and we don't want the trolls in. JoinGenGen.com is the way to do that. I have been a top-rated speaker everywhere I've gone, best-selling author, trainer, and a certified master coach. So this one thing that I'm going to share with you today was my one thing as I grew my business. And by the way, here's a great way to join GenGen. You can scan the QR code or just go to joingengen.com. I do have 2 quick objectives today. One is give massive value first. I truly believe this is the one thing every agent should be doing going into the 4th quarter. I know it. I believe it. I've experienced it. I've gotten 500 plus referrals in the 4th quarter before doing what I'm sharing with you. And number 2, I want to show you what's next and show you how I may be able to help you get referrals and better your life, and how we can work together to build something that perhaps you've never even imagined before. And so the best place to start is in the beginning for me. I'm not going to give you a huge giant backstory. I'm just going to kind of tell you, like, why should you listen to me? The first thing is I started in 1999. It literally, everybody said it was the worst time to start because all the computers were going to go down on December 31st, 1999, January 1st, 2000. Remember Y2K? Some of you weren't even born, before Y2K, but Y2K was coming and everybody was scared. And yet I jumped in. I tried everything. I tried, calling, I tried door knocking. I tried open houses. I tried advertising. I tried marketing. I tried branding. I tried blonde hair tips in my hair to look more fresh, obviously. I know you're laughing. I know some of you are laughing, but I tried everything, obviously. But my first client came from my sphere. Isn't that funny? It came from someone I knew. From there, I did 37 transactions in my first year. I did 87 in my second, 187 in my third. And by the way, those 3 years, I was all by myself. And then 205, 255, and then 300 plus for several years. Those were my first 5, 6, 7 years in the business. In 2005, I was interviewed by a guy named Howard Brinton to be a Star Power star. If you've ever seen America's Got Talent or something like that, essentially Howard was like America's Got Talent for the real estate world. It was a really big deal to be a Star Power star. He had over 100,000 people who had subscribed to his club. And so when he said, this guy right here is America's most referred real estate agent, I was inundated by calls and emails. They would ask me about housewarming parties. They would ask me about the Triangle of Trust. They'd ask me about the Home Court Advantage. They'd ask me about the stack. They'd ask me about the Great Retrace. Well, I would give them like an answer. I would give them the system. But I knew in my heart of hearts that an answer wasn't the answer. Like the answer to getting 500 referrals a year is not like one strategy. It's really like we need to know the combo. So I knew I needed to write a book, but like a lot of people, I didn't write a book, no book. And then I had knee surgery on December 13th, 2007. A few days later, I had some major complications. I went to the emergency room, and unfortunately or fortunately, I actually died on December 18th, 2007. I had 7 blood clots. I had 3 that went into each lung. I had 1 that passed through my heart. That one killed me. I was at the hospital. Thank God the head nurse resuscitated me, and I was reborn, literally and figuratively. And I was very emotional when it happened that night. And by the way, some things I thought of is just I didn't have children at the time. I was very ambivalent about children before that, but I instantly wanted children after this happened. I started really thinking about my legacy, right? And then I also thought, like, this system that I have that is generating daily referrals, like 1 or 2 referrals every day, just about died with me, and I have not shared that with the world. That night in ICU, I outlined what became 7L, the 7 levels of communication, my first book. And 11 months later, I had my son, Max, and, the rest is history, kind of on those two. But I really want to say, don't wait for a life-changing event to change your life. Like, you can change your life for the better right now, today. You can also change your life for the worse right now, today. So make great decisions. Don't wait for a life-changing event to change your life. So, so let's go deeper into this. So after doing this, and when I say this, I mean real estate, for over 25 years, here's what I know and we know. Cold callers are a dying breed. Like, first of all, who actually answers those? Like, who answers a number from an unknown caller? Realtors do. That's interestingly enough. But here's the thing. More and more rules are being put out there for us to not be able to call people we don't know. And not only that, it's harder and harder to do expireds and FSBOs legally with DNC this. You got TCPA now with the Consumer Protection Act. And it's one of those where, guess what? Like, the world is making it harder and harder, and they are now doing lawsuits to back that up, or fines from the government to make sure that these things do not happen. Door knocking is a lot of time and effort for low results, and it can be called soliciting. Marketing and advertising is so expensive. Even the best of the best marketers and advertisers say 50% of it works, but we just aren't sure which 50%. Like, what kind of plan is that? That is not a good plan. So here's what we know, and we know this is increasingly being the answer. Relationships are the answer. Relationships are the answers. But emailing doesn't work. You might want to write this down if you have the opportunity. A lot of people are looking for something where they can set it and forget it. And here's what I want you to know is that if you are thinking about setting it and forgetting it, you might as well just forget it, because it's not going to work. You are going to have to interact with human beings to get referrals. And guess what? You're going to have to interact with human beings to do real estate. So if you're thinking you're going to set it and forget it with a monthly email, I'm telling you right now, email newsletters don't work. They don't work by themselves. So now, pop buys, there's something called pop buys where you drive and you deliver what some would say is an item of value. But the problem is value is very, it's very subjective. So what might be valuable for one person is a absolute piece of trash to somebody else. But here's the worst part about Popeyes. There are a lot of time, energy, and effort with low to no results. And here's the other thing. Phone calls alone aren't enough. If you think you're going to call once a quarter and get referrals, you're not going to, it's not going to work. Just a call isn't enough. One-to-ones are very time and energy intensive, and they're impossible to scale. This is coming from a guy who wrote the 7 levels of communication, and the top level is one-to-ones. And I'm saying that, guess what? One-to-ones are great for certain situations. but they don't scale well and they're very time and energy intensive, especially if you're an introvert at all, which is me. I'm a very high introvert. So guess what? So how are we building these relationships to the point of referrals? We know referrals are the past and present. All the study, and here's what's interesting. Like you would think internet leads would go up. You would think maybe open houses would go up. You would think, but guess what? You know what category of getting a client is going up? Referral and repeat. Referral and repeat, that we are actually a percentage of the business higher than we were 5 years ago and 10 years ago. So guess what? Not only are referrals the past and present, but most importantly, they are the future. In an AI world, we all know HI is the solution, and HI is human interaction. We need to drive human interaction. You need to drive human interaction. Also, predictable referrals are the best. That's what I've discovered over time is waiting for a random referral to happen just doesn't work. We need to make referrals happen. And guess what? I'm the only one that I know of, other than those people who are talking about asking for referrals. But the problem with, right, asking for a referral is a way to try to make referrals happen. But the problem, if you've ever been asked for referrals too early in a relationship or when you didn't know anyone, then it became very awkward. And it can even get to the point where you avoid interacting with that person because you're afraid they might ask you for referrals again. We don't ever want to be in that position. But what if there was a way to make referrals happen, and not only make them happen, but make them happen with the help of other people, make money doing it, and you also get scale with it. So how do we do that? Right? How do we get, by the way, this is my professional passion. How do I get the maximum amount of referrals in the shortest amount of time? I'm a high D with a D chaser. I don't like anyone to waste my time. I don't ever want to waste your time. I will never waste your time. So I don't want to waste time getting referrals. So I don't want to waste time with time wasters. I don't want to waste time with people who don't have influence. I don't want to waste time with people who aren't connectors. So what do? I help business owners, especially realtors and lenders, build a referable business based on a foundation of, you may want to write this down, love, generosity, and appreciation. And by the way, this is not soft stuff. This is not tissue paper stuff. This is not, holding hands around a campfire singing kumbaya. This is tough love. This is strength, not weakness. Love, generosity, it takes strength to operate your business with love, generosity, and appreciation. And we have hundreds of strategies under love, generosity, and appreciation that get you referrals. So, just as a quick testimonial of what I'm about to share with you, this June and July, Referco clients generated over 600 documented referrals in just those 2 months without verbally asking for a single referral. And it cost them. What did it cost for them to get those referrals? Like, how much do you think it cost them? I'm just going to give you the answer, right? Here's the deal. It didn't cost them anything. They actually made money getting all those referrals. Is there a lead generation method that you can think of where you get paid to do it? You get paid to lead generate, and then you get paid when the leads and referrals close. The only one in the world is the one I'm about to share with you. So millions in volume and commission while making a profit. 0 doors knocked, 0 cold calls, 0 pop buys, 0 DNC list checked, 0 TCPA worries, 0 people bothered, 0 cost, or actually they may make a little money, right? For some, they did it for the very first time. Results are not typical. I will walk you through specific strategies and systems that are earning predictable and multiple referrals right now. My results and my clients' results are certainly not typical. And the average person who attends any training will get zero results. Why? Because they don't do anything. However, I am happy to show you exactly what's working for me today free. This is not for get rich quick people. This is not for side hustle people. This is not for amateurs. This is for the professional people who are motivated and they know and want to be a success in real estate. That's who I'm talking to. So we know that we need to touch our database. We need database touches. So how are you touching your database today? In other words, what are you talking to people about today? And for those of you that are newer, if you ran into someone from your sphere today at the store, what would you talk to them about? Like, what would you talk to them about? This is the interactive part. Nice. What would, if you ran into somebody you knew at the store, what would you talk to them about? All right. So form, right? So I like that. Got that from Bob Berg, maybe, right? So there's form, there's Ford, and then in 7L, I use my favorite, which is frog, which is a variation of those. So their life and family. So we just talk to them about them. All right. So how much business are you going to get talking to them about their family or their life or their vacations or what they're up to and that kind of thing? And the answer is maybe not a lot, right? But here's the thing, at least you're talking to them. And by the way, if you went up to them and asked them for a referral to their face, they would probably avoid you at the store from now on. And they would probably avoid you in any interactions. So I'm glad you didn't say I would go up to them and ask them directly, like out of all the people you know, who do you know would be buying, selling, or investing in real estate? Could you imagine? Like if you were just that person out there sprouting and spiting and just like, by the way, they teach that in some places. But here's the thing, right? Is what if we had a way? What if we had something we could say that would attract them to refer us more? Would you guys be open to that? Would you be open to learning that? All right, that's what I want to dive into here a little deeper. All right, so the question becomes is what are the perfect touches, right? Is there a best way to keep in touch with your sphere? If you haven't read MREA, shame on you. It is literally the Bible of KW. It is it is the greatest real estate book, in my opinion. It is the greatest real estate book ever written. And I've read them all. So that doesn't come from me just joking around and saying you should read the red book if you're with the red and black company. But if you have read MREA, you know the 33 touch, which has changed into the 36 touch, which some people have amoebed into 108 touch, and some people have even taken to a 360 touch, right? So in MREA, it also talks about a strategy called the 8x8, which is 8 touches in 8 weeks. And what you do with the 8 touches is it's a very fast way to brand yourself in somebody else's head, right? Branding is like, that's why they call it branding, is back in the old days, they would brand cows and buffalo and horses to make sure that someone knew the owner of that thing, right? And what you're doing with branding your business is you kind of want to burn an impression in the brain of the consumer that when they think of real estate, they think of you, right? So what if we could mix the best of this 8 touches in 8 weeks with the best of the 36 touch program, which is, 3 touches a month for all year. And it would increase the frequency and consistency of our referrals. When I was talking to Gary, we called it Mets Mastery, right? I truly believe that this is Mets Mastery. There are a lot of ways to keep in touch, but let's cover them all. In the next 5 minutes, I'm going to share with you the single best piece of direct mail you could ever send, the single best thing you could ever email to your database, the single best Facebook private message you could send, the single best thing you could write in a handwritten note, the single best video, the single best text message you could ever send, the single best thing you could say on a phone call. excuse me, thirsty. The single best thing you could ever say at a one-on-one, and the number one single best reason to talk to your database ever. I'm going to cover all that. All of that. Would that be helpful? Would it be helpful if I covered every single marketing and communication method in the next 2 minutes, and what would be the best? Like, what is the single best piece of direct mail? What is the single best thing you could ever email to someone? What is the best thing you could write in a Facebook? I mean, what is our biggest problem? Sometimes it's not the thing, it's what to say, right? What is the single best video you could ever do? What do you say in that video? What if I told you literally this is the best video that you could send to your database? The absolute best text message that you could ever send, or audio message, the single best phone call, what you could say. And here's the thing, right? What if, ladies and gentlemen, what if all of these was the same answer? What, and I'm telling you, it took me a while to discover this. It took me 24 hours, 7 days thinking about referrals, like thinking about like what is the most attractive message. And what got me to get to this next answer, which I'm going to show you on the next slide, what got me to that is somebody said, Michael, why don't you create a graphic of all the best reasons to reach out to our database? So I started one. I started writing the list. And ladies and gentlemen, there was this one that jumped out of the page and slapped me across the face. And it was like eureka. I literally jumped out of the bathtub. Okay, I didn't do that, but that's where eureka comes from. But here's the thing, right? The single best thing that you could ever say or communicate in a touch, the number one single best reason to contact your database in any method, is an invitation to an event. It is an invitation to an event. So why is that? Why is that the best reason to talk to them? And remember, we're going back to talking to them in the store. We talk to them and so on and so forth. We do form or Ford or frog. I'm a fan of frog, which is family recreation occupation goals, right? So I'm a fan of centering the conversation around them. And then it's like, hey, listen, like what are you doing the week before Thanksgiving? What are you doing the week of Thanksgiving? Like, what are you, hey, like, what are you doing on November, whatever date, right? And they're like, well, nothing. Or if you've already maybe emailed them, then you're like, hey, I wanted to make sure you got an invitation. Did you get my invitation? Now, share with me, why is this the best reason to communicate with your target market? Why is an invitation to event?
It's an offer of value, Michael.
So it's an offer of value, 100%. And here's the thing, like back in the roaring 2022s, right? Or 2023s, everybody was like, how do agents really provide value outside of the transaction, right? And it was like, how do we provide value in the transaction? How do we provide value outside the transaction? Well, guess what? If you throw a fun event that people from your sphere of influence go to, is that not by definition value? Is it value? Now here's the thing. How do we know that what we are offering at the event is of value? Come on, this is a tough question. But it's a very important answer. How do we know that what we are offering at the event is of value to the person?
My answer, Michael, would be that they come, but
Boom.
there may be, right?
They attend. If they are willing to get dressed, get out of their house, get off social media for a couple of hours, and come to your event, we know by definition we have provided value. And guess what? Who do we cater to? All the people who didn't show or the people who show, right? It's an instant filter for your sphere. Those who show up are getting value, and we're going to provide them value. And then we're going to make everybody else feel FOMO, which is the fear of missing out, right? So, And listen, a lot of you, like you have a bunch of events in your market center and you're not going to all of them. Which ones do you go to? The ones you find valuable. And isn't that interesting? Right? So we will continue with the invitation to an event. And it is an invitation to an event. All right. So the secret to maximizing referrals is events, period. Right? It's events. The one thing you need to do right now to get referrals is to do an event, but not just an event, right? A referral generating event. And I'm telling you right now, if you could throw a birthday party, could you guys throw a birthday party? If you could throw a birthday party, you can throw a referral generating event. You can not only throw a referral generating event, you could host a profitable referral generating event. Ladies and gentlemen, the answer is events. The easy answer is events. The simple answer is events. The right answer is events. The profitable answer is events. The practical answer is events. The loving answer is events. The generous answer is events. The appreciative answer is events. The leverageable and scalable answer is events. So the answer to, there's something out there called ninja selling, and they're always worried about flow. How do we get into flow with our clients? The answer is events. Here's the thing. Buffini talks about doing Popeyes. It's one of the key ingredients to his system. And by the way, I've studied ninja selling. I am from Kansas, just like Larry Kendall is. I've literally read everything Larry Kendall's ever written, and I've been to every class he's ever taught. Same thing with Buffini, right? And here's the thing. The answer to Buffini's Popeyes is events. If you're an unpaid delivery driver driving things that you think are items of value, they're not of value, and neither are you. That's my opinion. How do we know they are not of value? You got to deliver it. How do I know what your value is? You're the one driving it. So the answer to Bold's conversations, right? Bold gets you into conversations with more people. The answer to that is events. The answer to MREA's 8x8 and 36 touch is events. Tom Ferry, right? Tom Ferry basically hitched his wagon to video, right? The answer to Tom Ferry's video is events. There are 8 to 9 videos we can do with every event that is attractive, shows our proficiency. It also shows our professionalism. The answer to Gary Keller's one thing is events. The answer to Seth Godin's Purple Cow is events. You want to stand out? Do an event. Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, right? Be smart, be fast, right? Have the right mental attitude. It's events. Sun Tzu, The Art of War. You want to beat your competitor? Have a better relationship with the person than your competitors. Guess how you do that? Events. The answer to my book is events. The answer to 2,500 plus business, leadership, and marketing books is events. The answer to Christianity in business is events. The answer to a Bible-based business is events. What would Jesus do? Actually, what did Jesus do? Right? Everything he did was an event. And then he had 12 prophets. Do you have 12 prophets? Maybe you should develop 12 prophets. How many of you would take one prophet, one hype man, right? One hype girl for you and your business. So how are you developing that, right? So the answer, my friend, is events. It's events. The answer is events. All right, any questions?
What's the one thing? I'm just kidding.
Stacy, I already love you. I'm telling you, the number one ingredient every great realtor I know has is a sense of humor. You got to be able to laugh at yourself in this business. I'm just telling you. So, and I just want you to know, I want your questions at this point because I do have like 12 more slides where I'm going to give you some more depth, but I have to stop right now. And I want it to soak in that maybe the answer you've been looking for lead generation is events, right? And counter me. Say, well, that'll never work, or say that'll never work in my market, or like let's debate. Let's talk about it. Yeah, go ahead, Sheena.
Michael, can you hear me? Hopefully you can. Okay. Thank you so much for having this class. I'm extremely excited about it because I love events. I'm just trying to figure out how to really like maximize on it. And when you asked that question a few minutes ago of how do we know we're providing value, that one kind of got me because I was like, you don't want to just be throwing an event. Now, let me tell you this, my brain is running so fast. I'm trying to slow down. I consider myself to be like a new home new construction agent. So I go to a lot of new construction sites and, do a lot of content, all that good stuff. They would like for me to start hosting some events there. So what I was thinking, starting in October, I was going to start having like some home buyer seminars and have it.
Man, I was so going. I was just going. It's just like, let's go, Sheena. Let's go, Sheena. And then you blew it with real estate. You're not going to, who the heck is going to go to a home buyer seminar? Nobody, there's so much, they can go to Chat GPT for a home buyer seminar. You're not going to do that. Sheena, you're not boring, are you?
Mm-mm,
Then you know what you
not
need
at
to do?
all.
You need to have fun events. Like, how about a cocktail reception? How about like fun? How about housewarming parties? How about like neighborhood block parties? What about you doing a cul-de-sac party in the new home construction? And just so you know, I sold a lot of new home construction, a lot of construction. And in one area, there was an area of town called Gardner. The most that ever a new home subdivision had sold was 5 in a year. We sold 55 in 1 year. 55
Wow.
in 1 year. And we did it with events. We did it with
Wow.
events. We had events for realtors and we had events for consumers. And every person who bought a new home in that community, we had a housewarming party for. It events was 100% the way that we blew up in that neighborhood. So, so
So,
here's Sheena, a couple things. One, I
oh,
love that you're an extrovert. I'm jealous that you're an extrovert. I also want you to know that you have to be careful that you don't become the event. Okay. Like it's not about you. The show is not about you. It's please do not drink at your events and become the entertainment. You know what I'm saying? What I need you to do is be the guide on the side, and the person who is hosting the event need to be more Princess Di than Chicken Little. Is everybody good with what I'm talking about there? Right? So we are going to glide and slide around the room, and we're going to be the guide on the side and not the sage on stage. Everybody good? I hope you wrote that down. Anybody write that down? Mandy, did you write that down? That was really good. I need to remember that for later. So, all right, but here's the thing. That's what I'm just saying is you're throwing a party for other people to have fun, right? And the thing that really helped me is I loved to give people a good time. In fact, I was happier when they were happy than when I was happy. I was happier for them at a housewarming party than I was getting the check, if that makes sense. So I love making people happy. If you love making people happy, then this system will work for you. So other questions before I dive into like the 8, we really need to kind of cover like 8 things about an event that will help you do a better event, like planning. Oh my God, what did he just say? Planning? How boring is that? How
so the
important?
second part to that question is,
Yeah.
what type of value are we adding?
Yeah. Well, all right. So I just kind of explained that a little bit is if you have a home buyer seminar, like we're providing maybe a lot of value to very few people. That has its place. And I'm telling you, if you want to do home buyer seminars, do them on Zoom. Don't do them in person. Do them on Zoom. All right. Second thing, and that is a whole nother lesson for a whole nother like fast track. Now, the second part is we're having value because they're having fun. This is about fun. Now, Michael Maher, I am not extremely good looking, right? Though my wife would probably not say that either. But I think the big thing is that like I'm not super charismatic. I'm not very, or I wasn't very well spoken. I think I have a lot of that now, but I've developed it over time. But I wasn't like you, right, Sheena? I was just, really simple. But what I loved is that I would host events that were fun. I gave people what they wanted, right? I didn't go, well, I'm going to give them what they need. No, I'm going to give them what they want. You know what people want right now? They want fun. They want drinks. They want socialization. They want happy. They want good time. They want bowling. They want, you know what they want for Thanksgiving? They want freaking pies. They want freaking pumpkin pies. And I'm telling you, the greatest event People ask me all the time, what's the best event? The best event is what is going to be the funnest for your sphere. That's the best event. What is going to be the funnest for your sphere? And then what happens is, here's the fun, here's them, and then you're right here. You are the person who is the conduit getting them to their fun. But I have to tell you, the number one way, and this is a guy who's helped, over 1,500 different events, 5,000 different people run events, and we're talking 10,000 person events, and we're talking 10 people events. It's Pi Day. It's Pi Day. The number one event to do in your area is Pi Day. And some of you are like, oh my gosh, Pi Day, a realtor doing a Pi Day. But why do you think they're all doing it? They're doing it because it works. Let's not reinvent the wheel. Let's do a Sheena style Pi Day. Let's do a Tamara Bright Pi Day, right? Let's do a Pi Day and put our spin on it. So the one spin that I definitely would put out there is, don't make it a hit and run activity. Don't make it a hit and run event. Hit and run, they come and get the pie and they leave. No, make it a stay and play event. That's a key ingredient to my events. Make it a stay and play. So how do you do that? Very easy secret. Something hot to drink. They come in, you give them coffee, hot apple cider, or what's another hot drink? Hot chocolate, right? So you give them a hot drink. Why does that make them stay? Anybody can answer.
Because they have to sit. Oh, go ahead.
They have to let it cool down. So what are they going to do when they're holding a hot chocolate and like letting it cool down? Interaction, human interaction. And by the way, that's why pop buys don't work. You go and it's a hit and run activity. Sometimes it can be super awkward and then you're gone. But that's not the only reason that methodology fails. The other reason is there's no what we call like plus like equals two loves. When you have an event and all your people come to get a pie and then they stay because there's hot chocolate or hot apple cider or coffee and they talk to each other, what are they going to talk about? They're going to talk about you. They're going to talk about you. How do you know Sheena? How do you know Tamara? How do you know Marissa? How do you know Alexandria? How do you know Takia, right? They're going to say, and then it's like, oh, well, I know her from here. And then it's like, oh, I know her from here. And what happens is they talk and they're like, they like plus like, they're like, oh, you like her too? Like, I like her too. And then it's like, oh, well, I love her, right? And then they walk away loving you because somebody else likes you. And guess what? They're more emboldened and they're more empowered to speak highly of you and refer you often. That would not happen in a one-to-one environment. It's something that only happens at events. If you have 12 people there, it's like you're having 48 conversations at the same time. Powerful, right? It's all about conversations, right, Mark? Conversations. The more conversations you have in real estate, the more successful you will be. What's even more powerful is the more conversations about you in real estate, the more successful you'll be in real estate. You might want to remember that. How do you inspire and conspire to have conversations about you? What are your talk abouts? What are people going to talk about you? When I started in the business, they sure in the heck weren't going to talk about my production. I didn't have any. They weren't going to talk about my past successes. I didn't have any. I was a teacher who everybody knew taught so I could have summers off. That was me. I coached 3 sports so I could be involved in sports. And I was really a coach who happened to teach. Was I a good teacher? Yes, I was a really good teacher. Yes, I got teacher of the year. I got district teacher of the year. I got nominated for some like Apple award, and I don't even know where that is to this day. But bottom line is no money came from any of those awards. But here's the thing, right? Is just know that they were talking about me because of the events. Because of the events. The events are the best talk about. It's not always what you share on social media. What if everybody that came were taking pictures of the event and the pie and they were putting that on social media, right? So here's the other thing about Pi Day. Listen, I could talk like 6 days on the Pi Day. The number one holiday, number one, even more than Christmas, the number one holiday for conversation is Thanksgiving. So if you did the pie and it's sitting there with your logo on it, what might they talk about? You. And just so you know, people talk a lot at Thanksgiving until they all fall asleep watching the Cowboys lose. I'm just kidding if you're a Cowboys fan. Just kidding, kind of. So, all right. Can I now go into like 5 or 6 things to make your event a success? And I don't want to bury the lead here. I have a class. That's what this is for, right? It's a fast track class, but we're about to, and by the way, Mark was part of my decision on where the pricing is going to be. And you can thank him. And you can also thank KW, because we're going to give you like KW no-brainer pricing on this. There is going to be a cost, because if there's not a cost, what happens? Nothing
People are not
happens.
invested. You know,
Nothing
we're not
happens.
invested.
So we need your skin in the game, because you know what? If you pay a little, you'll show up. And here's what I'll tell you. If you show up, you'll grow up. And if you grow up, you'll go up. And what you really want to do is go up. But the first step is to sign up. Sign up, show up, grow up, go up. And we'll go up together. Sound good? All right. So I'm going to show you some elements of what to do in your event. I'm going to go pretty quickly because I don't want to get into like PowerPoint prison necessarily, but all right. So there are 5 sequences within any event mastery. Okay. Event mastery is trademarked. It's like, that's my baby, right? So there's the planning sequence, invitation sequence, confirmation sequence, event sequence, which is the day of the event, and then the follow-up sequence, the all important follow-up sequence. Now, all right, first of all, the successes in the planning. The key to an event, and by the way, like I could see some of you are like, I'm going to do an event tomorrow. I get it. But guess what? If you do an event tomorrow, you're not going to get any referrals. You're just going to have an event. Even if you did an event in a week or 2, you most likely would not get any referrals. We need to start 6 to 8 weeks out. Too many events are rushed. Rushed means stress. Being ahead, stress free. Too far out, no urgency. So we don't want to start 12 weeks out. Nobody will care about your event. But if you say your event's next month, there is something about the event is next month that kind of tweaks a piece of their brain that says, I need to note that, right? Do planning right, and you can get referrals during the planning sequence. I'm going to show you how to do that in Event Mastery. How do you get referrals during the planning sequence? That's right. What if you could do an event and actually get referrals before the event? And by the way, you might say, well, he's just saying that. Go to referralspodcast.com today. Listen to the episode that came out yesterday. This guy, who you might think is an accountant, very quiet, very number pusher, right? He got 11 referrals before his event even happened. So that's on Referrals Podcast, literally the episode that came out yesterday. All right, so planning. Failing to plan is planning to fail. We've got to think about the who, what, when, where, how much, how often, right? We've got to think about the big planning things, right? Now, the thing that we all need to remember is that the event is not the end all be all. The invitations are the end all be all. We keep thinking, well, the event's the big deal, the event, but please understand the power of an invitation. By definition, invitation means invitar. Vitar in Latin is essentially vitals. Where do we know where we got to take your vitals? What does that mean? Like, those are the things that are vital to our life. Vitar basically means life. So what are we doing with an invitation? We are inviting people into our life. That is extremely attractive. It is extremely powerful. So we need to do invitations right. And please notice, we have 7 beautiful weeks of invitation. So professional, so ahead of the game, so like, oh my God, I'm so impressed you invited me 6 weeks out instead of the day before. In some cases, and if done following what we teach in the event mastery system, you can also get more referrals during the invitation sequence than any other sequence simply because of the conversations that you are actually having. And the other thing to remember with the invitations is the mix is the fix. Mix up how you do invitations. Don't do email, 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 email for 7 weeks. They will ignore it. They will be annoyed by it. It will not go well. But what if we email, text, call? Yeah. What if we email, invitate, and then mail an invitation, and then text, and then phone call? You see the power in the multimedia approach. The mix is the fix. Mix up your invitation methods. By the way, I'm going to share with you like 60 invitation methods that you can choose from for your touch plan. And you can make it any mix you want. But I will tell you, I'm going to help you with that. And I will also give you a standard one that works. If you don't want to think about it and you just want to run our system, then you just run that system and call it good. All right. This is one of the biggest things ever that most people fail at is the attendance is in the confirmation. You can double your attendance with a smart confirmation. So we have a couple of strategies where we can double our attendance. And number one is just by confirming. Number two is I have someone for you to meet. If you have someone for them to meet at the event, they will show up to the event because they want to meet that someone. The other one is the bring a friend strategy, is invite everyone that has RSVP'd to bring a friend. And by the way, we did this with our mega camp and we actually almost doubled our attendance with just this one bring a friend strategy. So bring a friend. Here's the power of bring a friend too. If they tell someone about it, how many of those people will show up to your event? They both will, because now they have an accountability partner to attending the event. So if one goes, both are going to go. And that's a powerful thing. So confirm first, right? Confirm. All right. Energy is in the event. The event sequence is that, 2 hours that you are literally creating an experience for the attendee. And I'm going to show you how to do that in a way that really does create an awesome experience, no matter how small or how large your event is, right? The fortune is in the follow-up. An event is essentially a 12-week touch plan, 8 for the event and 4 for the follow-up. Yes, a whole month of follow-up. The fortune's in the follow-up, so let's maximize it. There are 7 types of people for follow-up, and I go through each one of them and tell you exactly what to say and how to follow up to maximize referrals. And then I'm telling you, part of the follow-up is a social media extravaganza. Write down on your notes, take photos, get videos. Take photos, get video. Make sure that you take photos and get video from your event. Make sure you do that so that you can share that in many different ways. All right. So those are the 5 sequence of event mastery. Now, if I just taught you those 5 things, your event would be a huge hit. It would be awesome. It would blow people away. It would be fun. You would get referrals. But we don't want just referral. We want to maximize the fun and maximize the referrals. So how do we maximize the impact? By the way, just check out Referrals podcast when you have a second. We have hundreds upon hundreds of testimonials and agents who have had success with events. But here's the thing. How do we get the event paid for? Sponsors. We are going to partner with sponsors. So I spend session 3 entirely on helping you get sponsors for your event. So if your event is $1,000, let's get 5 $200 sponsors. Let's get 2 $500 sponsors. By the way, if we can get 2 $500 sponsors, what can we do? We can probably get 2 more $500 sponsors. And now we're making money on the event. which is also going to lead to us getting clients where we can make even more money. Sponsor mastery, one of my favorite sessions. Marketing mastery, my MBA is in marketing, so I'm going to dive deep into like what we need to do within the event that is going to be marketing mastery that you can actually apply to anything that you are going to do in your business. So I'm going to help you a bunch with marketing. I also cover video extensively, which is here in a little bit. So Cynthia Bear did this last year and the year before that. 2 years ago, she got 148 referrals at one event. That is not a typo. By the way, these are documented referrals. Documented. Those are actually referral forms, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. That day, she got 2 new buyers and 1 new seller, literally, that she started working with. And you might think that's really awesome. Well, it gets better. Here's the rest of the story. The next year she did it, she got 207 incoming referrals and a total of 242 referrals. I mean, 242 referrals. Powerful. Charity mastery. You are going to want to partner with a charity on your events. You're going to want to do it no matter how like grinchy you are. You want to do it. Here's the thing. Including a charity taps into generosity, which taps into a part of the brain of the consumer that makes them want to work with you more. It is extremely attractive to be philanthropic. It is, and here's the other thing. You also want to help your community. You want to help people. And by having an event, you can help people. I'll give you a great example. What if at our pie day, we say, give a coat, get a pie. Give a coat, get a pie. So when everybody comes down, they give a coat for the homeless or veterans or whoever you want to give the coats to. So, and they get a pie, right? So you collect 50 coats at your event. Now, how much did those 50 coats cost you? They cost you nothing. You give those 50 coats to the charity. Who do they thank? They thank you because you made it happen and you deserve that appreciation. You were the conduit for this charitable action, which is really powerful. Now, you didn't buy a single coat. You didn't do any of that. What you did is you created an opportunity to help the homeless or help the vets or help the pets, whatever it may be. So you got to partner with charities on your events. You got to partner with charities. All right. Bonus 4, AI mastery. There is, any text or materials generated by it. This is straight from KWRI. And guess what? We all know that AI is not perfect, but how can AI help us get referrals? I'm going to show you that in Event Mastery. There are places you want to use AI, and there are places you do not want to use AI. And the first place you do not want to use AI is when it's your voice. When you are posting on social media, do not use AI. When you are texting, do not use AI. When people think it's your voice, it needs to be your voice, right? When you are, don't use an autoresponder in Facebook messages, right? Not that you would do that. But now there are very valuable uses of the AI tool, and I am going to show you how to do that in Event Mastery. All right. So one strategy from Event Mastery tripled her referrals. All right. Social media mastery. Once again, it's covered. Video marketing mastery. I give you 8 videos to do during the 8 weeks that you can share on social media, which makes you more attractive, gets people to go to your event, and gets you referrals before the event even takes place. All right. And of course, we have 3 referral systems inside of Event Mastery that generate referrals. And I give you all 3 of those referral systems, right? So here is Event Mastery. Any questions before I dive into like what it looks like? Any questions on that? We'll be done in 9 minutes or less. Everybody good? All right. All right. So what is it? what is event mastery? How does it look? Right? So it is me helping you step by step to do a profitable referral generating event. It starts Tuesday, October 7th. You might want to write that down. I personally coach you every Tuesday and Friday for 8 weeks for around an hour. Now, listen, like people have paid me 50,000. People have paid me 100,000 for a year of coaching on this, like 100,000. And they paid me 50,000 for an 8-week program on this. So guess what? Like normally this would be buku bucks. We will get in depth with all of those things I talked about: planning, inviting, confirming, hosting, and following up, along with getting sponsors, charities, and volunteers to help you run your event. It's a simple system. Run the play, get referrals. It really is simple. You're going to have to do some work, but you just run the play, get referrals. Now, how much is it? I'm glad you asked. Thank you for that. So now this is the value of these as they have been retail valued out. Okay. That's a total of around 15,000, right? And if all we did was get you one referral, would it be worth it? Right? If I gave you a system that generated predictable referrals, what would that be worth? If I give you a playbook, if you sign up today, that you could hand to someone and they could actually run the play to get referrals, would it be worth it? So, bunch of great things here. You can see why it's a good deal at 15. Event Mastery is a great deal at 8, 10, 15, but it's an absolute no-brainer at 2,000. We normally sell this for 2,000. We have the receipts, lots of receipts. This is what we sell it to the agent population typically is it's $9.97 a month for 2 months, okay? But here's the deal. You can get started today because of Keller Williams. And when I say special pricing, I might choke when I tell you the price because I know what it's worth. You don't quite know what it's worth yet, but I want you to get involved and get in and make it happen. So it's not 2,000, which is the normal price, or even half price, right? You can get started today for just $99. It's $99 a month for 2 months. You pay a total of $198. Yes, true story. You can get in by going to the link in the chat window, or you can click on the QR code that's on the screen now. $99. Like me, coaching you, helping you, answering your questions, keeping you away from the things that make you unreferable, keeping you on track to being referable and getting predictable, guaranteed referrals. That is not a typo. It's $99 a month. Okay. For those who enroll today, you're going to get the full event playbook. It is a fill in the blank event playbook that you will fill in during the 8 weeks of the thing, right? So sign up today, limited spots available. You have 2 options. The first option is to do nothing. The second one is to, invest in yourself, right? And give it a shot. All right. I think a couple things here is, first of all, I'm from a small town in Kansas, Gardner, Kansas. I grew up in like embarrassing poverty. I was the son of a teacher who made $2,500 and a stay-at-home mom who had 5 kids. And we grew up on food stamps. I went to 5 different colleges. I was a teacher and a coach. I didn't have a sphere when I started, literally none. I had little to no training in real estate. And I have spent over 20 years of trial and error to discover these secrets. I'm just going to give you for a small investment. You could spend countless hours trying to do this the hard way, but why? Just do what I do now and leave off the blonde tips, right? All right. So this is what the weeks look like. I literally 42 referrals at our very first event. Pi Day had somebody literally come in and list. The mayor showed up at Brenda's event. Sherry has been doing this forever and got referrals. 6 years of doing it. Finally got referrals, got donations, gave out over 60 pies, raised $1,200 for local students. Love it. 50 pies, 20 pies, 77 referrals at an event. right? So she generated 39 referrals at her Pi Day. And by the way, she had just moved to the area. You want to talk about no sphere? She did it. So get started today. Go to the link and I'm sorry, or you can click on the QR code with your phone. If you don't know how to do that, just take a picture of it too, and then you can click on it from your photos. Or you can go to the link in my name or in the chat. Okay. So, oops, sorry. I'll bring that back up. All right. What was your biggest aha or a question that you have? All right, Marissa, what was your biggest aha or a question that you have?
Actually, I was just typing in the little chat box. I saved the link. I'm gonna go ahead and look into that because I gotta go. But
Yep.
biggest aha moment that you have to plan out 6 to 8 weeks for an event. That's crazy. I can't even plan out 2 weeks from now. My schedule's just crazy. I got 3 teenage boys and they all play sports, and it's just I got pasta mom night. So that's like an event that I help for my boys football team. There's about 40 moms that I see every week, and
Yep.
I start to mingle there, and I wear my, I'm a realtor, ask me
Yep.
anything question,
How many referrals have you gotten from that?
I have gotten 2 actually.
Okay.
This is my 4th week of doing it.
Okay. So,
But I mean, I don't try to, I'm not trying to be pushy.
yeah.
I talk to them about their kids and life and work. But yeah,
Here's the magic of events. All right. So, wouldn't you call that a social circle of yours?
yes.
But here's the thing is that it's really hard to market and be pushy and be in control of a social circle that's not yours. Would you agree with that? Right?
Yes.
PTA, moms group, things like that. That's what we call they events. So
Mhm.
they are hosting an event and you go to it. And we're so frustrated. Like I was so like I go to this event all the time and I never get any referrals from it, or I got 1 or 2, right? And
Mhm.
then I discovered we events. And we events are events that I host with volunteers who help me. And now I had an approach for all the they events. My approach was I'm going to invite all the people from the they events,
To
these
my,
social circles, arrow to my event.
yeah.
Is everybody going to attend? No. But who is going to attend? Those who want a
Oh, that are
relationship with
interested.
me.
Yeah.
And they get to see my professionalism. You've got to host event. If you think going to events and socializing is going to get referrals and business, it's just not going to happen. We have to host events so that it acts as a filter and it gives us a place where they can see us in action, right? And it also gives us control over their experience. So, take your they events and then invite everyone from your they events to your we event. And honestly, the Pi Day is perfect for you because your Thanksgiving week is probably your slowest from sports, from everything else. They're going to have the week off, right? So you could easily do a Pi Day on Monday or Tuesday before Thanksgiving for a couple of hours and just have people come and get a pie, socialize for a little bit, and then you can count 20, 30 referrals by Thanksgiving, right? So it's a really powerful move when you move from attending events to hosting events, right?
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Alexandria, how about you?
Hi,
And
Michael.
then Mark, you're next.
Thank you. Yeah, I just put in the chat that there should be 4 weeks of follow-up. I listened to you on the MREA podcast, and I actually wrote it down there as well. I'm the regional operations manager for the South Florida region. So, there's a ton of events all the time. We do small classes of 20 people all the way up to same thing, about 500 people. So, just doing some content of follow-up. I wrote down that you had said hey, we missed you at this event. Can I catch you at the next one? That sort of thing. So being more intentional about the follow-up.
So you hit a really important word there that I want everybody to take note of is in follow-up. There's two things people want. Two things. That's it. Number one is they want to be invited. Everyone wants to be invited, even if they don't want to attend the event. Everyone wants to be invited. They want to be, everybody wants to be invited. Like me, I'm a huge introvert. You invite me to something, I'll probably say no. No offense, right? Now, if Mark invites me, maybe I go, but maybe. But here's the thing, right? The second thing is everyone wants to be missed when they're not there. Everyone wants to be missed. So the phrase that pays in follow-up is we missed you. We missed you. We had a great event. Alexandra, we had a great event at KW Mega Camp was awesome. We had a great event, but there was one thing missing, Alexandria. There was one thing missing. It was you. I really wish that you could have made it and you could have come. And I understand that you couldn't come and I understand why. And I just wanted you to know that we did miss you. It would have been a better event with you. And I just want, is it okay if I invite you to future events? Great. We'd love to have you involved. So if I did have an event, who would you like to get connected to? Right?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Thanks. I'll be here all week. Just kidding. I'm actually out of here in 12 minutes. So, Mark, you had a comment. I'm sorry to be slow to get to you.
No, that's great. I love listening to everybody. I thought it was interesting that you talked about not just having fun, because we try and have fun at events, but actually centering your events on fun, around
right.
fun. Because, you know, we were even talking about this with learning events that we have within KW, that it's people like experiences. They like the experience that they're having, even if there is, you know, learning involved. What's the fun? What's the experience? Why is this different than just going to a classroom? What makes this interesting? So that was one of my big takeaways, but you had so much great stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. We want to get between our sphere, or in your case, we want to get between the realtors and fun, right? We make fun happen. Like that's our mantra. We make fun happen. We make fun happen. So we are going to have bowling. We are going to have barbecues. We are going to have alcohol, maybe, right? Depending on the scenario. Most likely we are. We're going to have, you know, we're going to have different things that are going to be fun. But realize, like, what most people find the most fun at events is human interaction. It is, by the way, bingo games. And I don't mean the bingo where they hold up a ping pong ball. I mean, like bingo where it forces socialization. Like somebody that has the same birthday month as you, somebody that has this, and they just get a chance to go and mingle and interact with each other and have fun. So yes. And that was my secret to success is I didn't do events about real estate and I didn't do events about me. They were never about me. They were always like super fun. And I'm not that fun of a guy. I'm really not. I'm not. But I had fun watching people have fun. That's what I really enjoyed. Like, yeah, I don't ever have fun, but I have fun when others have fun, if that makes sense. Like going to see my son play baseball is not fun for me. Like people are like, well, that's fun. It's like, no. But when my son is having fun playing baseball, that lights me up, right? That lights me up. And I'm sure you guys are probably similar that way, right? So other questions or suggestions or need a link or a QR code, we'd love to have you. We'd love for you to spread the word. This is a KW deal. I do know that we've got some offices in Georgia that are going to be in the class with us. We'd love to have you guys. Any other avenues or questions or whatever you have. So, everybody good? All right. I appreciate you showing up. We had lots and lots of people registered, but guess who showed up? You did. And by the way, that might be 80% of success according to Woody Allen, right? 80% of success is just showing up. So I do appreciate you showing up. I also have to give a big shout out to Graham with KW Maps. He helped make this possible and did everything to get this set up. I also need to thank Mandy Thacker and Cherry, who are like, you know, they make me look like the swan above the water, and they're my 2 feet really like pounding out to the water. So very hard workers who do their best to make me look as good as possible. So want to shout out to Mandy and Sherry. And I appreciate all of you. You guys have a great one. I love you. Let me know if I can do anything to help. And if you haven't yet, join gengen.com to join the Generosity Generation. It's also our KW referrals group right now. So lots of good things happening. So, all right, everybody, have a great
Thank you,
one.
Michael.
And have a great week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.